I'm very well, my friend. The thing is, Luke Rockhold just had a face that needed knocking out, so I was the man for the job. Nice to speak to you guys.
Wow. Okay. So, your story's incredible. And I think there's a lot of people, and it doesn't just apply to your craft, but I think there's musicians. I think there's actors that, for whatever reason, probably because it's a very subjective thing, get overlooked. And then they finally get a chance, and we say, man, how come it took this long? You were 37 and just kind of grinding. I mean, mentally, how much longer were you ready to chase this dream before you actually won the title, man?
So here's the thing. Of course, all fighters, they want to be world champion, or anybody, any sport. You want to be the world champion, or you want to win the Super Bowl, whatever it is. We all have that competitive streak inside of us. But also, at the same time, when I started doing this, I was trying to, find a way to look after my family. I've got a beautiful wife and 3 children, and I wanted to give them the best life I could. Now, part of me inside, even though I never gave up, part of me inside kind of said, okay, well, maybe I'm not going to be world champion, but I'm still able to give my family a good living.
Mm-hmm.
That said, I never, ever stopped trying, and I got my opportunity on short notice, and I took it with both hands, and here we are today. I'm the champion, and I've got a defense in 3 days.
Yeah, no, you have Dan Henderson coming up. Tell us about this matchup for you, because obviously sometimes we think we know what's going to happen, as evidenced by what we were just talking about. Well, what do you think is going to happen here?
Yeah, well, Dan Henderson and myself, we have history. We fought at UFC 100 7 years ago, and if anybody follows the sport of UFC, they all know what happened. He knocked me out cold, left me out there cold for several minutes on the canvas. It was, one of the worst knockouts in UFC history. So here we are 7 years later. I've always wanted a rematch with this guy. When I was unconscious, he dived on me and gave me a second blow, which was a little uncalled for, if you ask me. So I've always wanted revenge for that. I've always wanted to, get another crack at getting that one back. All fighters want to do that. So,
yeah.
As I say, 7 years later, I knocked out Rockhold, became the champion. On the same fight card that I became the champ, he knocked out Hector Lombard, who himself is a very tough guy. Dan Henderson knocked him out cold, proved that he's still got that vicious knockout power. So, there's history there. The fans wanted it. There was a big public outcry to see this fight. So here we are, I've got to be careful with this fight. Dan Henderson's got a big right hand, but I've got the skills. So, make no mistake, though, I'm planning on knocking this guy out. As I said, I owe him one.
I like it. Man, I can't imagine building up that focus for 7 years, waiting to get back in the ring with this guy who, as you said, and we remember it, put you out and put you on your back pretty good. It's already sold out, so the fans obviously want this. Dan Henderson is going to take on our guy Michael Bisping. That's coming up this weekend in Manchester. It's sold out October 8th. This is going to sound like a strange question, and I hope you seem like you'll certainly be honest enough to take us into your heart and soul to answer this as honestly as you can. I know you want to beat him. I know that you have trained with great vigilance to make sure that you are in a position to beat him. But when you lose the manner in which you did to another man, deep down, there's got to be a fear, or at least an acceptance or somewhat of an acknowledgement that you can't beat him. Does that creep in at all?
That's a valid question, and I understand why you would ask that. But I think it speaks volumes about my fighting spirit, my mentality, and my toughness, because that fight was a number 1 contender, and I lost that fight. Then I dusted myself off, and I worked myself back up to another number 1 contender matchup, and I lost that one.
Mm-hmm.
Then I won a few more fights, and then I got to a number 1 contender matchup, and again, and I lost that one. So it was a career full of ups and downs. And then here we are. I'm finally the champion, and I never gave up. And I know after that first loss against Dan Henderson, everybody wrote me off. Everybody said he's finished, he's done. You can never recover from a knockout that bad. But I did, and here we are. So to answer your question, of course I think I can win this fight. I know I'm the better fighter. I really am. Dan Henderson has incredible knockout power, but he's a little slower. I made some mistakes in that first fight, and he did some good things. He had a good performance, and I had a terrible performance. And all credit to the guy. Well done. Good for you. But here we are, 2016, and the tables have turned, and I get to go out there and hopefully set the record straight. Back then as well, I think a point that needs mentioning is that he was on testosterone replacement therapy back then. So he had an unfair advantage. I've achieved everything I've achieved through blood, sweat, and hard work. No shortcuts. He was on testosterone replacement therapy. That has now been banned. But yet he still fights in the organization. So I believe he was manipulating the system. He was at an unfair advantage. Now it's an even playing field, and I get to get my revenge. To answer your question, of course I believe I can win this fight, and I'm going to win this fight. Round 3, I will knock this guy out. Make no mistake.
I could appreciate that answer. That's pretty thoughtful. Good stuff. Michael Bisping with his UFC middleweight champ getting ready to take on his nemesis, Dan Henderson. 7 years he'd been waiting, and he scratches it this weekend in England. Sold out. Manchester should be fun. 204 UFC.
Michael, it's been reported, and who knows whether this actually comes to fruition or not, but Dan Henderson says he's going to retire after this bout. Now, we were just talking about how it took you till 37. You got your title bout. Obviously, the circumstances weren't ideal, but you got it, and now you're the champion. How long can you do this? And if you win here, scratch that itch, that one thing that you thought about for so long. Have you thought about hanging them up?
Yeah, well, not yet, but of course I can't fight forever. And one of the saddest things that you see in combat sports is guys that stick around too long because they need the money and this and that, and they start racking up the losses. It's a sad thing to see. I mean, the reality is that fighters a lot of the time, they don't set themselves up for the post-fight career. And to be honest, a lot of athletes across the board, we dedicate our entire lives to sport, and then afterwards, we can be left on the scrap heap. So that's why they stick around. I don't want to be that guy. I plan on having several title defenses. Of course, I do. Everybody plans on being successful. If I could defend the belt a number of times and then retire as champion, that would be an ideal situation. Of course, that would be an ideal situation, though. But I'm going to try and do that, maybe another 3 defenses, and then I'll call it a day. I've had nearly 40 professional fights, mixed martial arts fights, I've done boxing fights, I've been a professional kickboxer. I've been involved in combat sports since I was 8 years old. So, I enjoy this, and I've still got a couple more years left in it. But, there's got to be life after fights, and I'm working on some other things as well. So, but don't get me wrong. I've still got a couple more good years left in me, a few more big fights, and then I'll call it a day.